I want to look at an advanced topic. It's called named parameters. It makes your functions really powerful, and you will see a lot of this going forward. So, what are named parameters? Well, let's find out. So, consider the following problem. Let's say you want to write function for, say, area of circle, but you want to give the user options for pi. Okay, so with various pi options. What do I mean there? Because pi could be 3.14, it could be the best value that Python can give, or it could actually be pi, right? Like the string pi. So how would we do that? Well, first, let's set up the base function, just getting the area. Let's do that now. So def area circle. I've got the input is the radius, and let's say that the area here is, let's make the base case 3.14 because that's what most people do. 3.14, that's pi times the radius squared. Okay, you've seen that before maybe. All right. Well, we want that to be the default option, but we actually want other options. So how do we do that? You could think about if else, but what are we if elseing here? Well, you need something else defined inside of the function. Okay, and we can call it like what should we call it? Like pi exact maybe. Is pi exact here? No. So we can set that equal to a boolean of false by default. Okay. So the idea here is that that can be changed when you call the function. So if it is changed, okay, if pi exact is true, then we can have a different result. So in this case, let us consider what it would mean to actually be exact. It would mean that if the answer has a pi in it, so you're going to need the string pi. Okay, so I think we want to do something like this. Area equals, it's kind of interesting. I think it's actually going to take 2 lines. We want to concatenate basically the word pi. Well, let's do it in 1 line. Plus, we want the radius squared, which needs to come first, excuse me, because at the end it'll say like 4 pi, for instance. So radius squared plus pi. But the radius squared, adding, when you add pi to that, it needs to be a string, okay? So we're going to change it to a string. And so that's another interesting thing, is that it doesn't become a number in this case, but it does in fact give you the exact answer, okay? So for instance, if the radius is 2, then the output would be 2 squared 4, so it's going to say 4 pi, okay? And that's better than what you get using 4 times 3.14. It's actually considered more exact, okay? But it has to be a string because we need the add-on of the word pi. That's the idea. Okay, and then we can say else area is 3.14 times radius squared. It's actually okay to have the output sometimes be a string and sometimes not. We're not required to specify a certain output type. We could force the other one to be a string. And then we just return the area. Okay, that's 2 options. I actually want to look at one more. Now, usually you want to test these one at a time, but let's go and get the third one up here. So np.pi gives a better approximation. So we could call this, I don't know, best approximation maybe. I kind of want to put pi in there. I think I'll just leave it as best approximation. And again, that's false, right? So the reality is we only want one of these to be true. You can't have both of them true. And so, there is a better way to do it. But for now, hey, like, let's just put them in order, okay, using elif. That means else if. So, wait, that's not an elif, I'm sorry. Elif would be Yeah, it should be an else if. Else if what? Best approximation. And so what we're doing there is we're giving precedence to pi exact. So if the best approximation is true, then in fact, what are we going to do? We're going to change the area to, well, we want to use the numpy version of pi, which is np.pi. Okay, so np.pi, but we haven't defined np yet. And we're going to multiply that by the radius squared. Okay. Seems nicer to kind of put the radius squared as one unit with the spacing. Now, to do that, we actually need to import numpy as np. No way around that. And there we have these three options. Okay, let's see if it works. It's a lot of code. Really, it's good to do one piece at a time before checking it. That way you're more likely to find where the error is, because if your error is at the beginning, it might be harder to find. So let's now try it. Okay, so we're going to do quite a few tests here. So area circle. Now let's do one that we can kind of know. We talked about a radius of 2, right? So let's see what we get here. 12.56, yeah. Because remember, it's 4 times 3.14. Great. Now let's try it again with one of the named parameters. So area circle. Now I'll use 2 again, but this time pi exact is going to be set to true. Okay, so let me explain how this is going to work. In the code, the first line is if pi exact. Well, by default, it's false, so it doesn't run. It says else if best approximation. Well, by default, that's false, so it doesn't run. So it gets to these bottom 2 lines of code. But now that pi exact has been set equal to true, it's actually going to compute this as the area, hopefully. Let's see. Oh, beautiful. I love it. 4 pi. Like it's exact, okay? You know, I'm a math person. Pi is not some decimal estimation. When you have the symbol pi, it would actually be cooler to use the symbol pi. Oh, I confess, I don't know how to do that in code. I should know, right? It's not on my keyboard. You know, the little pi symbol. Really encourage you guys to try to figure that out. That'll make it really cool. And, you know, it does show the string, so it'd be nice to change that too. But it has the right answer. And finally, let's try the best approximation and see if that works. Area circle, and got the 2 in there. And you see what's cool is that it shows the options. It shows the name parameters. That's really useful when you're using functions. So you can start typing best approximation. It's kind of a mouthful, but there it is. Press enter. Change that to true. What do we get? Oh, I love it. Look at that. That's just more exact than 12.56. So this is a big key to writing powerful functions. Okay, let's go back and look at it one more time. It has name parameters. It has defaults. And this allows the user to actually have a say in what they want the output to be.